Welcome back. This is Ryan Dunston. This is the Ryan Dunston Podcast, Words from a Humble King. I have with me Mr. Dana Lewis, Ms. Sharmika Lewis, and they are Whole Life Center, Whole Life Center here in Baltimore. They do urban counseling. Speak to that a little bit before we get into this conversation, because of course, I want to approach this at a particular angle, but speak to this urban notion, this urban note, that theme you guys have going, because you guys are kind of making it to where Black folk are opening up to the idea of counseling.
Absolutely.
Talk to me a little bit about how you guys getting that done.
Yeah, so when you come to counseling service with us from the urban perspective, it's a place where you can be you, unapologetically Black.
Oh my God.
You can be you don't got a code switch. We relate to some of your trials, some of your tribulations about being a Black person in America. So we really, really relate to you as a Black man or sister.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you don't think I feel uncomfortable, like if I bring up a topic that might have came up on the shade room and is impacting my mental health. We can talk about that. We literally can talk about anything that's related to the Black experience.
Yeah.
We're here to provide that open forum and space in therapy. You know, you can just, again, be you. You don't got a code switch.
Yeah, man, listen, I'm glad that you guys are using the term urban, right? Because what's urban right now is one of the components that are connected to this urban word is social media, man.
Yeah.
And that whole community and how you think you have to be. So you can end up in one season in your life thinking that you're supposed to be where you're not supposed to be because of a meme you done read,
right?
Or an expectation that's now been set, or how lonely you just literally feel because of how big that world is, right? Most people think that you're gaining access to more information, but to me, it kind of seems like at times we have access to too much and we end up feeling so small that we feel like we're supposed to be in somebody else's season of life, right? And that leaves that empty portion. I'm interested though in this. You guys hear a lot, right? And of course, I would never ask you about any particular person's, personal experiences. But from a general perspective, you guys absorb a lot, right? And in mentorship, I know for me, just from a mentorship perspective, man, I take in a lot of stories, but when I love hard, right? So when I get to caring for a particular kid, I actually care for them, their family, but then every walk of life, I'm in finances. So when a kid gets me, a family gets me, and then when a family gets me, I'm actually trying to service every need that I see.
That you see.
Right? Because I'm just a fixer, right? I'm a king.
Right.
And I often end up absorbing the struggle. So when something hits them, it hits me emotionally too. So I have to dump that though, because I'm still a father.
Right.
I got 3 boys, one of which is going into manhood, man. He's 17 right now, and he's getting ready to turn 18 in November.
Oh, wow,
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well,
yes.
Thank you, but before we get there, right, I'm real transparent on this show. That's the reason why I heard Words from a Humble King. I'll be the first to tell you that I don't know what I'm doing. people, congratulations. I'm like, I'm smiling for life right now.
There's no manual to it.
And then let's throw in the ingredient that, my father was out of here when I died. He died when I was 6, but he died at 36, and I'm in my 36th year, so I don't know how to be. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So, and not to mention, I'm in different seasons and walks of life than he's ever made it to. So, I'm fighting all of the demons that they fought, but doing it in a whole nother way. I did start to sidetrack just a little bit though, because my point to all of this is, you get to a point where you're like, I have to dump this somewhere, but I really don't. I've never even been taught how. Remember, I told you, I'm trying to fight all the demons. But I don't know how to feel in all this either, so I'm still learning that process too. I just told y'all, man, I just got into therapy my daggone self, and all of that is due to me having to take on so much, feeling like I am the cure to every disease or the answer to every problem, because I take very seriously this sense of accountability to do things that other people cannot do for themselves, specifically because I'm connected to where they come from. And I know how impossible it is to get out of those seasons, to get out of those ruts, to get out of those processes, to get out of that conditioning, to get out of those chains. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I was blessed to be able to see some things and do some things that other people can't see and do. Now, with that, I can't say yes to everybody. I was talking to y'all before we started rolling, like, yo, like, there's still a monetary idea that, yo, I don't want to feast on my people, but I gotta make money.
Right.
I gotta buy this, but yo, go buy that book, man.
Bills still gotta be paid. I mean, bills gotta eat.
Right, my pain in there, so it's gonna help you. But please go buy it so I can keep doing some stuff, right? But nonetheless, how do you guys get rid of it? That was one of my routes. Like writing that book, all that book was, and I'm not, and of course it's not my full book. Credit, shout out to Kenny, man, from Men of Stature. But you know, I'm one of the authors in that book. I'm a co-author in that book, and my chapter, you know, in Love Endures Through Growth, it's all connected to my journal. So for the last year, I had been asking myself 4 questions in the morning, right? What are you mad at? What are you sad at? What are you scared of? And what you grateful for?
That's good.
And shout out to Darius Daniels. I would never take that credit. I mean, his mentorship, Darius Daniels did.
Daniels did, yes.
But yo, like, that has done some things in me, stirred up some things in me, unearthed some things in me that I didn't know, but I thought I was over. You know what I'm saying? And all of this is connected to how other people are hurting like me. I have the ability to respond, right? That's all responsibility is. I'm taking on this accountability, right? I had to forgive my father for things that, you know,
right.
Like I had to forgive a lot of people for things I didn't do to me. So I've taken on this accountability to be able to look back at some other situations and say, I got the ability to do something about this. We can respond.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm taking on, but in order for me to love and respond, I gotta love you. I'm not about to just sit there and respond to people I don't care about. But I consider it my responsibility because I have the ability to respond to some of these issues. It's just that, bro, when we get started, it's like the problems don't stop coming.
Oh yeah.
So you end up saying yes to damn near everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You got that helping spirit.
But we still are subjected to burnout, right?
Absolutely.
We still subjected to obedience.
Absolutely.
Because if we don't do it the right way, we will burn out.
You crash and burn.
Yeah, you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
So I want to know how you guys do just that. How do you not burn out? How do you let go of some of the things that you guys experience or absorb or listen to? How do you compartmentalize what issues are yours and what issues are not through your emotions?
Well, I have to say that it has been a process for me to get to that place of setting boundaries.
It's a strong word.
Boundaries.
Say it 3 more times for
boundaries.
Yes, man.
Because, like I was saying before, like when you have that helping spirit, it's innate within you. It's like a gift. You want to just help people. You want to see people impacted. You want to see people go to new levels, and you know that's within you, right? But then at the same time, I have to remind myself that I can only help people, but as far as I go with my own healing and how much I'm taking care of myself. So it really came to that point where I realized like I gotta take care of myself first. You know, I gotta say no to things. Just because I say no to things doesn't mean that I won't revisit it. It's just not right now.
Right.
I can come back to that. Let me take care of me because again, like my conscience is like I'm gonna give people my best, and I'm gonna give a tired version of myself.
Sure.
So in order for me to not give that, I gotta take some time to regroup, refocus, refresh, even give myself the time to re-strategize how I'm serving. Because sometimes we can be so lasered in and so immersed in serving that it could be new strategies that we're missing on serving if we don't take that time to pull away.
Oh my goodness! Oh, you just that's juicy fruit right there, right? Look, you remember juicy? Y'all remember juicy fruit? Right?
Yeah.
That's juicy fruit. Like a little bit of slime to get that thing. This explosion of flavor in there, right? Because no, you're absolutely correct. Let's pause there for a second though, because all right, in order to let go of how you think it should be done, which is what you're explaining right now. You gotta, for me personally, right? One of the biggest battles has been me putting boundaries. That big word,
huge,
around me. First of all, I'm battling with addiction. So structure, authority are all things I struggle with. So boundaries, if I can't keep my structure, if I can't keep some authority about me, if I can't manage me, I'm all over the place, right? There isn't any boundaries being set. I'm just out there loving and being taken advantage of. And do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all connected to, like I said, where I come from.
Right.
You just don't understand how low them roots go.
Oh yeah.
How deep, yeah.
Yeah, because most people are not gonna look at addiction the way that I do, right? Just because I don't have a needle in my arm,
Right.
doesn't mean that I don't struggle with that same
Because there's
beast.
various levels of addiction.
Exactly.
Levels.
And that addiction is connected to how I'm making my decision for the people that I love, right? Let alone putting boundaries around me. The sheer fact about, and I'm gonna tell you this through experience. Maybe it is in a book or maybe it's not. You guys are the therapists, but this to me is a fact. If you struggle with addiction, there is no way, right? And when I say struggle with addiction, that doesn't mean you've conquered it. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you first are introduced to the thing that you love in another way, and you start looking at that thing like, oh, you're killing me. You hear me? And then it's like, nah, I gotta break up with you, but I love you.
I can't let you go.
How you break up with something you love? How do you create a boundary and but do away with in the process of that? This is like a double layer, it's like a double whammy. It's like I gotta not only put myself in structure and a system, all things that ain't never been me, never been taught to me. We talked about that I don't know how to do it in the blueprint. And then you're asking me to say no to the thing that I love. The thing that makes me safe and the things that helps me deal with what my fathers couldn't deal with. You understand?
Right.
And it's like in a season of my life, that was okay. Right? It was in a season of my life, it was, all right, for me and my spiritual relationship, I like to think that me and God had, all right, listen, I'd rather be this than this. I'll be strategic with it. That's the, I didn't do it, but I'll use it thing. It's wrong, but I'm going to use it, but at least it ain't that.
At least
At least it ain't heroin.
Right.
You understand me?
Right.
And then he's like, all right, but you're going to condemn that though, not me. You hear me? And because you don't see it that way yet. It's like that little blanket that we get when we made us comfortable at night when we were younger and we were able to get to bed with. But eventually, you gotta stop sucking your thumb. Eventually, you gotta stop that tendency, that habit, that pattern. But that pattern has helped your greatness. Right? I'll be the first to tell you my anger is what made me successful. But it ain't working in this season of my life now. Right? Right? And this is what letting go of former things that no longer serve you looks like. Because nobody really explains it to you. They just say, yo, let go of the things that ain't working no more. Right? Okay, so what's not working no more? And I'm conflicted because you mean to tell me the way that I can strategically let go of the things that I shouldn't be touching and not helping the folks I shouldn't be helping is connected to the addiction issues that I struggle with. And now I'm here trying to figure out right now how to put some barriers and structures around me, something I've never seen nobody do before, so that I can get to a spot that I know is available to me, but nobody can provide a map, no blueprint. How do I let go of those things? Right now I'm in the process of learning all of that. But as I go through this process and I talk about it a little bit more with some other brothers that may be in the mix of all of this, man, I'm telling you, I'm learning that a lot of dudes is taking on stuff that's not theirs. They're picking up responsibilities that's not there, but that's being connected to a subconscious that's making them dudes make moves that is hurting them even more. Cycles. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, what do you do to let go?
I think it's a constant learning, right? Because I don't have the blueprint, I have to rely on, I think what you said earlier, mentorship, right? Somebody has walked this way before. It might not be the same addictive path, but somebody has had to let go of something before and have achieved it. And so I say being mentored. Before we started this podcast, I was talking to my mentor, asking her the same question. How do you do it? How did you do it? And so she's able to download how she did it, and I can take bits and pieces and say, okay, how do I apply that to my life? The other thing is I have to stay in contact with who I believe my source is, right? Because I don't have the blueprint. And so I'm like, I don't know, but you do. So you're going to have to show me. You're going to have to show me how to let go, when to trade, and how to transform, I think, the energy. Because the anger that worked for you in the last season, it can work for you in this season, but what are you angry at?
Right.
See, because in one season you was angry because of this, and it worked for you to get successful. Mm-hmm. You don't need to be angry at that anymore, but how can you use that same anger in this season? What are you angry at now?
You know what? That's a dope. That's
good.
Yeah, that's a dope sentiment there, because you're explaining that delicate process of looking back at you through it all, right? We go through like, dang, if it wasn't for this, and if it wasn't for that, and if it wasn't for this, and if it wasn't for that, I'd be this, or I'd be there, or I'd be that, right? But the whole time, all that really is you going all the way back around and come right back to you. It's that crazy cycle. So when you finally see it that way, and you like, all right, so I gotta now do some hard stuff. That's where you get to, because you keep healing, right? Everybody heals on cycles. Right. So the same way I broke a cycle in one season of my life is not really
different.
Yeah. Let's speak to this for a second. Letting go, is letting go accepting? Because the reason why I'm saying that is this. What I just explained was a talk around a circle, right? And I talked about how I felt in connection to each junction of the next, all the way back around, right? In this circle. So what if letting go doesn't look like letting go? What if I'm trying to do something that really can't be done? What if I should be accepting?
What if you want to do something that can't be done? My question is, would it be in you to do it if it can't be done?
That's a good one. And the only reason why I asked that is because what if I can't not love you, but I do have to accept the fact that I can't do this now, and then that helps me.
And I think too, like keeping it in perspective that life is seasons, and being able to understand that in certain seasons doesn't mean that you don't have the ability to do what you need to do, but it may not be the time and the season to do that particular thing.
Yeah. This is your profession. I mean, there's a level. I mean, I'm in mortgages, right? Now we do a level of counseling as someone's loan officer, because it's a very anxious process, right? And if you got some other traumas, I just explained to you how some other things could be connected to coming up without you noticing. But I kind of feel, I honestly feel that you guys you guys do this for a profession.
Yes.
Of course I mediate and I liaison. But I don't have to sit there and get an hour of turmoil dumped in me. So what I'm explaining is, you guys gotta let go of way more than I gotta let go of. You understand me? And then for you guys not to have to go home and be depressed because of some of the weighted issues that you had in your pocket because in order to be effective, you do have to have empathy, which means we honestly do serve the people we've kind of felt some similar feelings for.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you guys had some situations and circumstances that kind of give you the understanding that you need in order to be able to serve. Okay. So you not only have been there, now you're getting more of it, and then you're getting kind of, I don't know if this has happened, but I can only assume that it has. You can get reconnected to some other issues that you've previously had to go through because of what you're hearing.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot to manage in you when you're taking on this kind of profession, which I salute you for in the urban sense.
Yes.
What do you got? What's some strategies that you have in place to continue to operate on the principles of letting go the way that you do?
Yeah. I know for me, like, as far as like being able to decompress and to compartmentalize things, I have recently put in like a day where I was like, I need time to recoup. I need time to refresh. So I picked my Saturdays as a time where I just do not disturb for like at least an hour and a half.
You did hit me like, bro, I hit you on Monday.
Yes. I'll hit you on Monday. Let me.
I say, yo, I feel it.
Right. Because during the week, all those things that you mentioned, I've encountered, with working with people in therapy and even some of my own stuff. So I just had to put that particular day in place and discipline myself to say, I need this day. I'm going to fight for this day. I don't care what's going on. I'm fighting for my hour on this Saturday because I know it's necessary for me to keep doing the work that I do in therapy, even outside of therapy, for my family and things like that. They need me to be present, both my clients and my family. So I need that time to decompress and just recalibrate.
Yeah. So your family helps you to stay rooted.
Yeah. Family, reading, God, prayer, music.
Yeah, man. I could easily sit an hour in the tub.
Easily.
No sound, just the water.
Just the water.
Just me and the water.
Yeah.
For sure, I feel that. What do you think?
I think two things. The first thing for me is that when I'm in the counseling space, I almost go into another person. Because for me, it's not just my profession, it's vocation, it's calling. Yeah. So that helps me to separate whatever happens in the counseling room is the other Sharmika at work, right? That's the other Sharmika. Then the other part is boundaries. He knows, so he protects his Saturday, I protect my mornings. I am listening to my affirmations. I am, please do not disturb me until 9 a.m. I'm in a zone. Sometimes people be like, yeah, even love each other because we barely talk in the morning. It's like, we already know. Like,
she trying to get her mind right. I'm trying to get my mind right.
Exactly. Yeah. You got the little person. It's like, if he's straight, we're good. We'll catch up with each other mid-morning. Because I just need that time to sort of settle myself and center myself. So that's how I function in sort of letting things go and being able to wash off the work that we do.
I love the fact that you are in sync with all of this, right? Because to someone else who hasn't learned how to, two things, you learned how not to negotiate with yourself about this. Like, you are not finna break this. This is yours. We're gonna protect it. And I'm not negotiating about this. But then also, you guys are you committed to one another's growing.
Yes.
Right? Meaning whatever that looks like, you support. And that's how me and my wife has made it too. I mean, 17 years we've been together. Right?
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, thank you. And our oldest, he's getting ready to graduate, which Jalil was born at 16. 16, she was 16 years old when that boy got here, right? So it's like, man, and Jalil biologically is not mine, but I came into his life when he was 2 years old, so I came in, pretty early. So he is mine, But to see our evolution, how we used to think and how we think now, is what I kind of heard you saying, right? Because I've learned her patterns.
Yeah.
Even if she don't know them yet, I know you know that one, right? And
yes,
you often learn through my own earlier mistakes how to endure her trauma because she forgave me for mine, so that offered another level of love I didn't recognize before. That helped me conform to how she needed me to be. But I say all of this to say this: when you got that union in the house here, when the house not on fire,
man.
Yo, that's where the peace at.
That's where the peace at.
Yeah,
peace and productivity.
Oh my gosh! And if it ain't right in the house, and it ain't gonna never be right outside the house.
Right.
So you really got some issues if you can't find that foundation that you guys have firmly cemented in. I think that's dope, and I think that you guys, I can't work with nobody. I love you, baby, but she know I can't, man, because my wife is so. I'm all over the place. No systems, no structure. I'm working on it. All right.
I'm the same way. I'm like, baby, we can freestyle, baby. And get more like the organization. Like, are you looking at systems? I'm like, a system? Like, come on, man. We run a business, baby. I got you, babe.
Listen, and I'm gonna tell you, that's exactly because she manages my family very well, right? But now she manages it with my trauma in mind too. But if she got into my business, there'd be no negotiating business for it. Like you can, all right, stay away from organizing all of this. I'll work on it. I'll deal with it in therapy. I got it, right? Because she need to make me quit. Let me change tomorrow, and I don't even know who I am anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like a process to it. Let me do my process. God said time. All right, get out of here. But no, I think what you guys got going on is dope. It's dope as hell, man. Urban counselors. I hate to end it, but we are coming up short. But I do want them to learn how they can get in contact with you all. Number one, I want you to touch this on our way out. Okay. Number one, why is it dope to heal? Right now, I'm gonna give my touch on this one. Okay. I'm from the hood. I'm from East Baltimore. Right. I've gotten to a level in life where I now work for a mortgage firm. Don't ask me how, but I just kind of followed some intuitions that had me journaling that just turned into a book that I didn't even know was gonna do it. As a matter of fact, I ended up writing those pages through tears that transformed into something that had transformed into monetary value for us, right? Yeah. But then also serves a purpose for some folks that are hurting in that manner, right? And I've been able to transform my life through obedience, through spiritual relationship, not religion. Please, we're not going there, but relationship, not religion. And through a father-son relationship, I'm in the process of learning how to be a son, to how to receive, how to feel, right? And that looks crazy in certain moments, right? But you all, I come from an urban understanding, right? So it is very important for somebody to understand my mess, right? So, right? Especially if you can't take nobody where you ain't never been before.
That's a fact.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm able to love in my way. So when I became a loan officer, when I finally recognized that I can still be from East Baltimore and be a loan officer. Like, that's the thing, you just didn't know that, right? Now bring your character, bring your charisma, and do what you do best, right? So now I'm able to come back and start fixing some credit and really start working on some individuals who come from my sphere of influence. But if it were not for my flair, my charisma, my relevance, my influence, right? If I wasn't using that strategically, but then also helping, literally getting tangible things done. People who have never had a different trajectory in a financial sense have it now if it were not for some of the things that I've endured. Talk to me a little bit about why that urban touch is so impactful when it relates to our black folk, specifically men, right? Why is that so important to understand that healing is dope as hell?
Yeah. So a couple of things I want to touch on is like having that knowledge of the urban aspect, especially like if you've grown up in the urban environment, is very important for particularly men that's coming to see me because they want somebody that they can connect to. They want somebody to know that they've been through the trenches like them. And you from East Baltimore, I'm from East Baltimore as well. And just showing other guys, other men that you can make it out of these circumstances and be successful.
Yes.
Like it's no barriers to your success because we came out from the same situation and look at me and you can be that too. Yeah. So being able to see that from across the screen, because it is telemental health right now, being able to see that from across the screen is inspiring to another brother that's coming into therapy. Like my therapist is dope. He from East Baltimore. He got the.
You said Baltimore like I said Baltimore.
Right. He got those urban sensibilities. He's even bringing up urban topics in my session that makes me even more connect with him. So that urban sensibilities is very, very important as far as connecting and really building a relationship within the therapeutic setting. And why is it dope to heal? Because for one, your life depends on it. And then two, on the other side of healing, there's so many riches, man. So many riches for your life on the other side of healing that makes you, speaking to men, a better man, a better leader. And when you heal, man, just know that you're not only doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for other generations that's coming before you. And people are observing how you're moving as you are healing, and you are inspiring them as well to say, you know what, healing is dope. It can be hard, but he's doing it, she's doing it. and they making it look so desirable. Let me get on that healing train.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it earlier, like sometimes growing up in the urban community, you may not see healing directly in your face. But if I take on that accountability and that responsibility to lead from the front with my own healing, it can help change that trajectory and that worldview on what healing is. So that's why I feel like healing is just dope.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the one thing I'll add is I work with a lot of Black women, and oftentimes they are super successful.
Yeah.
And so the healing part is dope because it allows your success to be sustainable. Because other than that, we will self-sabotage.
Yes.
Right? And so I think that's why healing is dope, is because if you grew up in the hood or an urban environment, you are innovative. You know how to go to the market with $25.
Yes.
You know how to, right? You know how to do all these things. And some of us have even gotten these college educations and done great things, and you are the loan officer and you are the COO, whatever it is that you're doing. But you also know you have relationship issues, right? You're constantly struggling with imposter syndrome. And so if you don't heal, you won't be able to sustain that legacy that you worked so hard to create.
Yes, man. You said Ebola. We got that's a whole nother podcast. So I'm not gonna do what I really want to do to that. But I absolutely love the fact that you guys have thought about the urban term that way and strategically placed it where it was right there at the forefront of your business. Last question: wholeness. When it comes to the other portion of you guys' title, I want you guys both to speak to this fact, right? You touched on it just a little bit, but the preparation of the healing so that you don't misunderstand when you encounter what it truly looks like and feels like when you experience better. It's because you think better feels better. You think better looks better. You think better clears your head up. No, better conflicts you.
Absolutely.
Better makes you look back at you and be like, you wasn't better. Is it this much stuff wrong with me? Right? That wholeness thing, the sheer fact that I'm a loan officer, got every minute, that whole grind up was connected to my trauma. I was running from where I was. Absolutely. So the only reason why my success is here is because of my anxiety.
Absolutely.
Now though, it's time for me to live safe. And you said it. I get to keep what I fought for when I developed this wholeness. But also just understanding that, when you turn back around and start to realize the same way you passed that test, the same fear you used to study is now hurting you. You see what I'm saying? That same anger you used to be aggressive in sales is now hurting you. Right? It's like that wholeness piece connected to this urban piece. You from where I'm from, so you understand urban, right? Now speak to the wholeness portion when we are there, like you said. In order for me to keep what I got, you got to prepare these individuals for the process, which means your wholeness means you got a why that's in there that's going to have to fuel you through your will, because you ain't going to be willing to do some of this stuff, but you will know why you have to, right? Speak to the why. It's so important to be whole. You spoke, I can feel what you feel. I can connect on you from a relational standpoint. I'm relative to you now because I'm from where you're from. Right. But I have to prepare you for what you're getting ready to feel, because it's not going to feel like what you think it looks like.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
I think because you are a different person at that level. Right, that person that was angry that got you to where you are now, and I get it. Right, I'm a PhD student, and a lot of it is I'm not gonna be where I came from, right? But once you get there, the wholeness is not a destination too. Some people think wholeness is like I'm gonna get to wholeness.
To this spot.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to this spot, but it really is the constant becoming of who I am. Right, who I should have been before the trauma. And so what I tell people is get a picture of who you want to be. And sometimes people don't have the imagination because it's been disrupted because of whatever experiences they've had. But I say look at a woman. It could be like if I'm working with a woman who's a wife, right? Look at a wife on TV that you would like to be. We know it's a sitcom, but if she has everything and is everything that you want to be, look at her. and then begin to embody her, because even in that you're going to start developing your own picture of yourself. And the wholeness is shutting off those responses, those ways of being, those whatever that aren't her, right? And so that wholeness really is just becoming
Your
more
most
of
ideal self.
your most ideal self.
Yeah.
That's what I conceptualize that wholeness to be. What is really, really true for me? And most times people are in therapy because they're acting in a way that is not them. And so it's conflicting with who they really are. But it's us helping them to understand that your responses are not who you really are.
Right.
Yeah.
Who you really are is what's in here.
Yeah.
It's inner.
Yeah.
And also, like with that, like with wholeness and healing, right? It comes with sacrifice.
Speak on that word.
You
man.
gotta
Especially
sacrifice.
for kings.
Yes, you gotta sacrifice the associations that you might have been hanging around that probably wasn't the best for you. You might have to sacrifice your time. You might have to sacrifice doing certain things that you were doing before as the old person to become this ideal person that you are visualizing. So it definitely comes with a lot of sacrifice, and it also comes with, like you said, some hardship there. Like being whole is not cute. Which sometimes
that's so mean.
we present it as cute, like okay, I
Get a hashtag up here right now.
being whole is not cute. I mean, you're gonna get some bruises, some bumps. You might open up some wounds, close some wounds. But I just want to just debunk that notion that wholeness is not cute.
Yeah.
Sometimes we call it therapy fatigue. When people first start, I'm like, listen, you might feel worse before you feel better.
Right.
But if you just stick through these
Just
first
hang in
4 to
there.
5 weeks,
Hang in
we're
there.
going to get through it, okay?
Yeah.
We gonna make it.
No, I too have experienced that myself, right? And I'm learning in the process that, understanding what that is when you feel it, putting a title on it in a hurry will help you, own it in your subconscious and then accept it, right? And one of those things is, all right, it doesn't hurt, it's just different than the way I've always been.
Yeah.
And that's hard to deal with sometimes because we're used to things, we're creatures of patterns and habits. So when we have to do something that's drastically different than
It can shake us up.
it can definitely make you feel like you're being harmed in a moment where we're actually healing. It can make you feel like you're being buried when you're
It's kind
actually
of
healing.
like if
know
you
what
grew
I'm
up in
saying?
an environment where it was a lot of violence and crime,
Yes.
and you move out to a different neighborhood that's quiet, you could probably feel like, am I really safe out here?
Right.
You're more paranoid about the quiet.
Exactly.
What's going
Somebody
on?
about to top out at any minute. You're
Right.
living in some crazy fears in your mind at
Yes.
that point, right? That PTSD.
Fact.
So y'all listen, Dana, Shamika, man, she definitely came through with her knowledge. I love you guys' union. I love
Thanks.
what you guys have been able to accomplish. I've been determined to make sure that we were able to do something for you, man, because I really wanted you
Appreciate
guys to speak to, the support group, because I felt like you had something to offer the group that we had.
Yeah.
And we just weren't able to really bring that home with how things happen. But everything happens for a reason, and I really do think that we are going to do more
Yeah, look
at
forward
our
to that.
branch. And with us personally at Dustin and Associates, man. So thank you for coming out and doing your community
you. Thank you for
spotlight at
having us.
Hometown Lenders, and thank you for doing this episode. Guys, get with Whole Life Center.
Yes, can we drop the
Got
daddies
it
on
right
there?
that time. Yeah, Whole Life Center. Tell them how to get in contact
Yes,
with
yes,
us
yes.
one more time.
So Instagram, you can follow me at urban_counselor. Whole Life Center, you can follow us on Instagram, Whole Life Baltimore. What's your Addy?
I was gonna say, I'm not even really on Instagram. What is it? Mrs._Charm Lewis
Yes.
on Instagram. I'm in my stories faithfully.
And then if you want to connect with us for mental health services, www.wholelifecenterservices.org. Book your appointment today.
They will get you right, man. They understand where you at because that's what they do. They're urban. And they also felt what you felt. That's where they're going to be able to meet you where you are. And I'm telling you, it won't feel like you're being criticized. It'll feel like you're being coached through. And that makes all the difference when you are feeling all kinds of traumatic and chaotic circumstances. So this is Ryan Dunstan. These are words from the Humble King. Thank you guys for joining me. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.